my favorite line from a song is not Taylor. It is Old Dominion, chase after the dream, don't chase after the money. I like sing that when I'm at their shows. I love that. I love that so much.
That's what I said. What should someone ask you?
Oh, my bad.
Mark, ask me what the best line from any song is that I love.
There you go.
So tell us again, Liz.
Mm-hmm. Chase after the dream, don't chase after the money.
Why?
Because if the money's your driver, you're in it for the wrong reasons, and it's probably going to fall flat. But when you have the passion behind it, you're really going to give your all for it. And the money will come.
Liz Toombs, we've just talked for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And Dave and Jack are sitting over here wondering, like, why haven't we been recording? Yeah. Because if the rest of this podcast and conversation is as good as the last 30 minutes, I'll take it.
Great.
So I could give an introduction and not stop talking about all the things. I love to have a Kentucky gal. I don't care where you're moving to or have moved to now, having a Kentucky gal in studio. So welcome to the Necessary Entrepreneur sit-down studio. Everything about you today. How's that feel?
A little nerve-wracking, but here we go.
Whatever. Yeah. You're like, this is all about you. So you are a sorority house whisperer. So your trade is an interior designer, but that specializes in doing interior design for sorority houses.
Yep.
Right? And so the sorority that you were a part of in college, loving, leading, lasting.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Alpha Gamma Delta. So at the University of Kentucky, I joined Alpha Gam. Felt like a good fit, really liked it, and had no idea that my career would end up turning into anything relating to Greek life. But as stereotypes go, met a lot of my best friends there. Really connected with some women and still stay in touch with them. And then now I have the pleasure of getting to work on houses for that organization. So pretty cool, full circle.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for 16 years now.
Yeah. That makes me feel really old, but yeah. Yeah.
We could say you just did 16 years of work in a shorter amount of time, but 16 years. How do you describe the past 16 years of being in business and being an entrepreneur?
It has been very interesting at all times, whether there have been challenges or it's been on wins or I've been hiring people or working by myself. It's always something is different every day, and it's very interesting. So
something different every day. Did you know you were signing up for that 16 years ago?
Lord, no.
I know, no one does.
No, like when you go into your craft, you just think, oh, this is what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to get to make rooms pretty. I'm going to get to talk to people, and that's it. And you don't realize all the other things that come with running a business.
So we talked a little bit in advance of hitting the live button about what it really is.
Yeah.
And so what are the things being an interior designer specializing in designing for sorority houses in the Greek life? I'm in real estate. A lot of people think real estate is the real estate we see on TV, just showing houses and it's all fun. That's not what real estate is. So what is interior design in your specialization? Like, talk about the skills, talk about the qualities, talk about the true parts of the business, other than just the cool things that we see, the pictures in magazines.
Well, a lot of it's sales, just like real estate, right? You're selling yourself, you're selling your skills, you're selling your team. People have to know, like, and trust you and want to work with you. And then you get to the design work. I also, as a business owner, manage my team. I have to figure out what makes them tick and how to support them and how we can work together really well. So there's that side of it, which I never would have thought would be a part of this. There's a lot. I joke too that you have to have a psychology degree to be in design, because more so with the residential clients, especially if you have a couple or a family and you're working on a space for them, that could be multiple different opinions and goals for the space. And it's your job to come up with something that suits all of them. You got to figure out how to mediate that and come up with a solution. But then even more so in Greek design, I mean, I have hundreds of clients potentially. Not all of them are on the decision-making team, but I'm making a space for all of these chapter women to live in, but also alumni and their house core board and potentially their headquarters level also have an opinion. So I have to figure out how to like get all that stuff out of their head and translate it into a space that works. So there's just so much that you have to understand about human psyche. I'm taking a class right now called Science in Design, which is all about just like how your space, affects your mental well-being. It affects you as a person. And so I think I'm going to be able to use a lot of that to benefit my clients and kind of make the spaces better for them. So
do you have a favorite client? We're not talking about all the ones that are. Do you have a favorite? You don't have to say who it is, but is there one that sticks out? Why were they?
They were so great to work with. Even when they didn't know exactly what they wanted the space to look like, they really collaborated with me. And I like that. I like that one-on-one connection. And it was actually a group. It was a board that we worked with, and they were just great. And it was one of the projects that had a longer lead because it was a major construction project. So we worked with them for almost 2 years. At different points, we're closer, to each other than others. And so I was kind of sad when it was over.
Probably like a $10 or $15 million remodel.
A little bit less, but yeah, okay. Close.
That's what a lot of them, that's the price point that a lot of them are, right?
Yeah, especially now. Construction costs have gone up so much. This was right before COVID. So it was before everything got crazy and out of hand.
So maybe it was 4 or 5 million and not the 10 to 13.
Yeah. But I mean, still.
So you said it's all about sales.
Mm-hmm.
You strike me as someone that can do a great job selling without having to sell.
Well, thank you, because I feel like selling is icky sometimes. Like I'm not a let me sell this to you kind of person. I'm a let me get to know you and kind of here's why I think this will work for you kind of person. And if you don't want it, then I'm not going to push.
Did it just work, or did you have to develop those? Was that natural?
That is my inclination, not to be salesy, but I had to learn how to get a little comfortable, like pushing outside my comfort zone. And I did a lot of networking in my early years of like professional career. And that I had to get real uncomfortable, right? Because I didn't like public speaking. Now you can't get me to shut up. But at the time, I didn't want to stand up.
You didn't like public speaking?
Right?
So, but here's the nuance for everyone is you can develop the skills that are necessary.
Absolutely.
That are needed.
Yeah.
So you were intentional about, like, I think go back to that 25, 26, 27-year-old Liz when you probably didn't know how, but you still took action to network and all that. Like, what was your mindset then to get out of your comfort zone when you didn't want to do it?
Well, I was in sales at the time. So when I graduated college, I took a job in outside sales for a countertop manufacturer. So the folks that fabricate your kitchen, bathroom countertops. So I was not to be in the office. I was supposed to be out cultivating new customers. I would go meet with homeowners. I would meet with builders, trying to build up referrals, cabinet companies, things like that. So I had to figure out very quickly how to connect with these people and relate to them and not take up too much of their time, but like let them know we were here and we could help them. So, I mean, that was it.
Did anyone train you, or did they say just go out and make some contacts?
I can't remember what our period of time was, but I would ride along with another salesperson in the company early on. And then they were like, okay, you're ready. And I was like, oh, and then I felt like if I'm not out selling, my time was my own. So it was up to me. And it was like, well, if I'm not out meeting people and trying to sell, then I'm not going to hit goals. And then they're going to be like, what are you doing all day? So I mentioned that to you before we started recording. I'm a rule follower. So I was like, I better get out there and
let me do what they told me to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
What do you think? What's a different word that we could put on sales? Because I know that you could make it a bad word, but you can make it a good word. What I talk about on the real estate end is like, hey, listen, you all, when I'm training people, they're going to buy a home from someone. Be the person. Be the person that ushers them, that counsels them, that is their therapist, right? Be that person and truly care about them, their interests and the fiduciary duties, because they're going to have to buy from someone. You've got to get this out of your head about you're selling them something.
Yeah.
No, like I'm going to sell them an experience.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to sell them a relationship. And if you're selling that, like, what's a better word for sales? I don't have it written down. I don't even know. But thinking through it, me and you, I agree with you that truly successful sales aren't pushy sales. It's not that whole thing like they're like, well, Liz or Mark, you could probably sell ice to an Eskimo. An Eskimo doesn't need ice. He's got plenty of it. So, like, quit telling me that stuff. Like, what does the Eskimo need that isn't ice? What service can I provide him? Let me go do that. Right? So what is it? Is it, because I know it's connection, it's communication, building relationships. I tell our people all the time, go out and talk to people. Go out and talk to people and tell them what you're passionate about doing.
Yep.
People will buy that.
Yep. You talking about the real estate shows on TV.
Yeah.
Think about all those personalities. They're all so specific, right? Like sometimes you're like, whoa, like that person's a lot, or, oh, I really like that person. That, they have to be that way so that they can attract customers that like them and want to be around them. And that's then how they connect with them and how they make the sales.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're just sort of everybody's cup of tea, you're not going to be very memorable, and they're not going to think of you when you're ready.
But how's that feel like in sales when you weren't someone's cup of tea?
I don't like it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what do we do with that? Because I think there's a lot of people, that causes a lot of people to quit.
Yeah.
What do we do with that? What's your advice for your team, for someone that you would be mentoring now, for the 25-year-old Liz?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't feel good when you get the rejection, but I always try to reflect back like what happened in the situation, and like the majority of the time it really has nothing to do with you. It's whatever's going on with that person. There's a reason that they're not clicking with you, and I don't know. It's past experiences. It's something happening in their current life, and so you're like
nicer than me.
Okay.
Because I would actually say it's all us. That's good. So I love having someone that I can have a good conversation with. So you think it's something with them? I do. Like, I've really learned that in life. Like, when somebody reacts to you negatively, it's usually not that you've made them all that mad. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we do stuff wrong, right? Yeah. But sometimes there's something going on with them, and that was just a trigger, and they lost it, and you just happen to be the recipient. In some of those moments, I think so. Yeah. But I see a lot of salespeople, though, that aren't tactically doing the right things. Yeah. Right? That I could plug in somebody a little bit more refined, and they're going to win the sale. Yep. So I don't know. Maybe we're talking about two different things. Yeah. I mean, I think that can be true, too. If you're not willing to do the work, then that's a problem. Then you shouldn't be in sales. You have to be very self-motivated, very driven, be willing to manage your time well. And I think that can look different at different stages in your life, how you work it around whatever's going on in your life. I used to be somebody that probably thought work was the end all be all. And now I'm like, work is what allows me to have my life and to live it. And so it shouldn't be the top priority, I guess. Well, let me, this is going to be awesome today. Because I think we're both someone that could handle someone having a positive disagreement with us. Mm-hmm. But I bet when Liz made work in her professional career a significant priority, see, I believe that was important because that's what turned you into this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think so. You set yourself up for this. Mm-hmm. So that's the debate we have to go back and say is it worth that sacrifice professionally to give you this life now that you can live? I believe it is. For me, it was. Right? There's always a price to pay, right? Yep. If you wouldn't have done that then, you wouldn't be this now. Right. And maybe other people would make different choices, but I'm happy with the path and the end result and what it got me. Where you're now at your age. Yeah. So talk to us about your business. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about, because business is just a name that the creator and the entrepreneur put on it. Yeah. It's more than just the name. Yeah. But talk to us about your business and what it is now and what excites you. So if I'm like, hey, Liz, tell me about your business. Mm-hmm. Our main focus is doing sorority house interiors. It took me a minute to be willing to totally lean into that. And I don't know if you had this experience, running a business, but I remember being afraid to say, like, this is what we do, because I didn't want to repel anybody and think, oh gosh, like, what if we don't have enough people come calling for this? And then I've told everyone this is all we do. So anywho, the whole time that I've had my business, we've done residential work, like commercial work. And then we got into this Greek stuff in like about a year, I think, after I first started PDR. And so then I was like, okay, there might be something here. And it sort of like snowballed year after year. And then I realized we travel all over. We want to be ready for these clients, and we don't want to make our residential clients wait for us. So things like that. So I had to really figure out how to lean into that. And that's been a good choice. But for me, it's more about than just making these Greek houses look pretty. I know that that's the clickbait out on the internet, is like these multi-million-dollar houses, and because sometimes they'll say it's elitist, all these things, right? The shiny, bright things that these potential new members see.
For me, it's a little bit more about the background of it. I was Greek in college, like we talked about. I lived in the house for a semester, had great experiences there. And I think that our job, my team's job, is to create this backdrop for these women for their college years, their college life. So we're supporting them in their studies, in their relationships. There's a huge component of mental health that comes from design and like the space that we're giving them. And so like it really is actually a lot deeper. And then I'm really big on mentoring the next generation. I have a lot of young women that come through my company. And so this is, again, that full circle opportunity that while you're in college, I'm trying to create a great space for you. And then when you come out of college, I would love to help you in your professional journey. And so it all kind of ties together for me.
Who was the inspiring person behind? Because this isn't just the Liz now.
Mm-hmm.
This was the 16-year-old Liz too.
Mm-hmm. I think my granddad, and interestingly enough, he was in real estate when I was a young child.
Go granddad.
Right? So real estate kind of sparked it all for me. So he was like a lifelong learner. He was a principal. He was an ordained minister, although he never practiced. He just loved to learn and loved to help people.
What a guy.
And so I think I really picked up that spirit of constantly learning and being able to give back. And it just so happens that I'm creative and I loved design and I loved seeing these houses. And so that was the path that I took for that, you know, giving back.
Tell us about a day with granddad when you were a little girl.
So I don't know if this was okay. I mean, it was like the 80s, early 90s. I would go to open houses with him and my grandmom after church on Sunday, you know, when open houses were like the big thing.
Hey, we're still doing them.
Okay.
Come on, let's go. We're trying to pick up clients, dang it.
Yeah. And so I remember there's a neighborhood in Louisville called Lake Forest. That's a very nice neighborhood. And anyway, I remember being in houses with him and we would play hide and seek in the house. And I thought the coolest thing ever was the intercom in the house. And I would, you know, talk and he'd come find me. I don't know. He was very indulgent with me, but
there weren't cameras then.
No.
So you were good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like it probably wasn't great that this like little kid's running around a house, but he did well. So,
granddad stood out. It's always someone.
Yeah.
Like ask us all, it's always someone.
Yeah. Yeah. He also really loved math, and I firmly disagree with that. He would always tell me math is fun, and to this day, I'm like, that's a hard no. I don't agree.
Math is not fun.
No, God, no. I hate it.
So the name PDR.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't name it after yourself.
Nope.
What's the acronym?
Well, it's interesting. It first started as Polka Dots and Rosebuds Interiors.
Jesus, Liz.
I know, right? Like, can you get girlier, like kind of foofier? So I was 25. What do you want?
Yeah.
So there was a piece of fabric that inspired that. And I knew I could name it Liz Toombs Interiors. I don't know why I didn't go for that, but I didn't. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. So chose that name. And then as I matured in the business and kind of realized, you know, our clients were getting better, you know, I don't know. It felt like it wasn't the right name anymore. And so the simplest thing was go with an acronym, PDR, kind of make our brand look more mature, more professional. And so we did a rebrand about 9 years in.
How do you live life? Like, is there a Liz philosophy at 7 a.m. in the morning? I'm not saying like yoga and all that, but like, is there a philosophy that you know quietly that you don't share with too many people that you know is just like your inner core of who you are and your why and what you do?
I mean, I'm sure there is. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know.
So as you're thinking about it, do you ever think about the 70-year-old Liz?
Yeah, sometimes.
What about her?
It is so hard to visualize what that looks like because I have this discussion a lot with friends. You know, my grandparents, my parents, I feel like those generations were raised to like work their tail off and then like hit this retirement day and not work anymore. And I'm like, but I like my job. I don't know if I want to stop. Maybe I'll want to slow down. So I don't know. At 70, I don't know that I'm still like schlepping stuff around a sorority house. Maybe everybody else is doing that.
Maybe you are.
Maybe I am. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
you're
know.
the one they talk about.
So yeah. I don't know. I just want to see like where it goes, like how life unfolds. I like staying active. I like traveling. I like design. So, you know, I don't know. I don't want to
so you
just
need spontaneity is what you're saying?
Within reason.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Don't come at me with too many surprises. You have to manage expectations with me, and I need to know somewhat what to expect.
What concert on a Saturday at 4:00, if your best friend or your guy or somebody close to you, that you're absolutely going to say yes. But here's the thing. It's 4:00. Nashville's a few hours away, and the concert's at 7:30. Which one, regardless of what's happening, that you're like, yes?
Oh, you're going to hate this answer.
Please do not say her.
Uh-huh.
Please don't.
It's 100% Taylor. She was amazing. Saw her in Nashville last May. It was amazing. But I'm always the yes girl with live music. So if a friend's like, I really want to go see this, I'm like, sure, let's go. I just want to hang out with you. And anything I hear live, I end up loving it forever.
I'm going to control myself. Tell me why it's her.
Oh, the songs are so good. Her production value is amazing. I mean, she's singing up there for 3 hours. It was great.
I'm trying to go with you here, so keep going.
I was not super young when she first came out and got super popular, but every song, like I'll be riding on my bike and like singing it at the top of my lungs. There's just a lot to relate to there.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah.
You think that's the connection with this huge follower of women and girls? Is there a connection?
I think so. For me, I also think she's a great business person. And
I mean, you can't hate on that part.
Right. So I can like connect with that side of it.
Yeah.
I just think she's fun. I think she does things her way, and I can really appreciate that. Yeah. And I think some people, it's, they grew up with her. I think if somebody goes through some heartbreak or whatever song they want to connect to, I don't know. It is like absolutely mesmerizing. But I'm sorry that I ruined your life with that comment.
I just knew it was going to come right when you said I'm sorry.
I knew. I was like, I'm reading the room. This is not going to fly.
Okay, so you'll appreciate this. I was at a Cincinnati Reds game with a group of our agents the other night. Went last minute. They're all going. I'm like, okay, no other managers are going. I'm going to come hang with y'all. And there ended up being some other folks around us. You guys haven't heard the story, so this will be good. Probably a girl, probably in her mid-20s, is sitting on the right side. I mean, there's a bunch of people all around. And she ends up being some elite cheerleader from like Paducah, but now they're in Louisville.
Okay.
Some really elite that is not attached to a school.
Okay.
And her and her friend, and then the guy sitting next to him, they're like, well, we'll show you how good we are. And they pulled up a picture of like their national championship rings. And I went, that's obnoxious.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like a Super Bowl ring. Those are obnoxious.
Yeah.
And so then the subject of Taylor Swift comes up. And I had a girl on my right, her mid-20s. I read the room, to your point. Some in front of me. And I'm like, there's a chance even some of these guys are fans. And I went, I don't get it, y'all. She just is not my thing. And so I have much respect for this 25-year. She was really confident. I mean, she was someone you don't want to battle. But she was cool. But she needed somebody on her side. So I have a strong personality. So she looked at one of the girls with me. They're like, do you like Tara? And they're like, absolutely. And I just said, okay, it's time for me not to say anything. So I sat back. And it was the best shot that a confident 25-year-old girl has taken at my 45-year-old man self in a long time. She said, well, yeah, you're really just not her audience.
She's not incorrect. You're not the target, sir. Not at all. No.
So it's okay since I'm not the target in marketing?
Yeah.
But then you know what I thought about that? The businesswoman Taylor Swift in her business meetings. What I want all of you all to know, it's a sales job. They are targeting folks.
Yeah, they are.
And I wanted to say it, but I just shut up. And I went, you just told me I'm not the target. So what it means is her target worked on you. So what about that in business?
That's okay.
It is okay, right? So what about that in business? What should we take from that? My real estate business, your interior design business.
Yeah.
What about marketing, branding, finding your right client, attracting the folks you want to work with? Is that on your mind now as a very mature business owner?
It is. It is. So, and actually on my team, it has come up recently in conversations relating to TikTok. So I went from starting a business at 25 and feeling like I almost had to fake maturity. And like when I went to meet with clients that were in their 50s and 60s, I would wear fake glasses to the house. I don't wear glasses. I don't wear contacts, but I wanted to look more mature. That was my choice. But I felt like that helped me look like I had more experience under my belt and more knowledge, even though I knew what I was talking about. So I went from that to now I'm 41 and I'm like, let's dance around and do these goofy TikTok trends and try to relate to these students. But that's who I want to relate to, right? I want to let them know that we're here for them and that ideally, should you need your house done, please call us because we're fun and we get you. So it's really just about, like you said, attracting the right people. And then how do you do that? And I'm very much a sing-songy, dance-around person.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very serious side too, but most of the time in my work, because it brings me a lot of joy, I'm like,
You're fun.
Like this. Yeah. So, I mean, I have one drapery installer who's like, if you're not singing to me on an install, I know something's wrong. But I'm usually like, this is amazing, and like singing like a goofball.
Yeah.
So that fits.
Did that come from your granddad too, or was there someone else that had that spirit?
Yeah, my granddad would sing, my grandma would sing, my dad used to sing to us at night before we go to bed. I don't know that any of us are good singers, but like we sing. I still sing songs to my dog. I make up songs to him every day.
What type of dog?
Yeah, you're gonna crap on this too. It's a Yorkie poo. He's an 8-pound Yorkie poo, and he has a little bit of an underbite, and he kind of looks like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast with that underbite, but he's real sweet.
At least it's not a Frenchie.
No,
because that's so stereotypical now.
It is. I've always had Yorkie poos for whatever reason. I love that breed, and they're real sweet.
Just a little.
Oh, he's so small.
Do you have a bag?
I don't have a bag, but I like to put him in clothes because he gets cold and he gets really embarrassed. He looks foofy, but he loves to stay dirty and like roll in the dirt and just be gross, and I don't love that.
Liz, you're a sorority house whisperer. You're a dog whisperer too. How do you know he's embarrassed?
He crouches to the floor and literally looks like he's trying to melt into the floor
and hide away
and get away from me. But then he won't go very far because he also knows he's supposed to do what I say, and so he'll just let me put it on him.
It's a thing.
It is.
The 16-year-old Liz. Did she care about what other people thought?
Oh, totally.
Were you still singing though? Did you still take action in spite of that, or did it hold you back?
Yeah, I mean, I would like with my close friends. Sure, that would always come out. But you know, at that age, everything's so precarious. Like you want to be liked, you want to be popular, and you're still trying to find your way and like what that looks like. So yeah.
What advice do you give them now? Because I think these 16-year-old girls have it way more difficult. And I'm not saying yours wasn't hard.
No, I understand.
They're being judged at another level and a volume, boys and girls. But from you're the guest today. They're being judged and evaluated in ways that's compounded way beyond what we had to go through.
I'm so thankful that my whole childhood and adolescence wasn't put on the internet. Yep. I think it can be so damning. There could be something, you know, you make one mistake, whatever that looks like, and it really could follow you for a while. And that sucks. You know, you have to be able to make mistakes growing up. You still have to be able to make mistakes when you're an adult. That's how you learn stuff. So I think that's hard. And so, I mean, honestly, I would say try to stay off social as long as you can. Even now, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Like, I just find sometimes I'm like, no, I'm just like addicted to this scrolling. If I want to talk to somebody, I should just pick up the phone and talk to them. But yeah, I don't know. I think you got to find a way to balance that because I think it affects their mental health, I think, too.
I mean, the comparison game.
Yeah.
I mean, here I like now that I'm just okay with the person that I am, and I'm just confident. But I can scroll through Instagram and see beautiful humans that don't look like me. I'm okay with it. But when you're still developing, might be hard to be okay with that.
It's super hard. It's incredibly hard, and you're not even like fully aware when you're in your teens that this really is a highlight reel. Nobody's going to post an ugly picture of themselves. We have heinous pictures of ourselves because you couldn't see them before they got printed out. And
have you not seen my social media? I actually can't get a good one.
Yeah,
Liz, I have a double chin.
I'm sorry about that.
I have like muffin tops at times.
Can your friends not edit it better?
I yell at them all the time. And do you know what Jack said to me the other day?
What?
We're putting a stairwell between our 8th and 9th floor. And I'm down on the 8th floor, and I've been yelling at them he's an incredible photographer, and we're building a great content team. And I said, if you don't stop taking pictures highlighting my double chin, we're going to fight.
Yeah.
And so I've been saying it for over a year now. And 2 weeks ago, I'm standing down at the 8th floor looking up at this hole that's been cut out for our stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Hey, Mark, I finally have a way that if I take a picture from here that your double chin won't show up."
Great. It's a win.
Just takes a floor up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Should I ask to see the pictures that you took of us while we were talking to make sure I don't have a double chin?
No, listen.
Or we have to be real about it.
Yeah, right. Got to be real. What's up with that word? We got to be real.
Okay, great.
How about this? How about really make me look good and do
Yeah.
the best? You know what they say? No, Mark, that's what I've done.
Uh-huh.
This is the best I can do.
Well, cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Mhm,
Uh-huh.
mhm.
Liz, you're way easier to make look good. This thing's hard. They keep on telling me.
Well, thank you.
But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So they tell me like, hey, we have a gym downstairs and we have a deli where there's more healthy food. So those types of things.
Okay, well.
Yeah. What are you excited about? Am I allowed to say you're moving to another state?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so you're moving to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Have you already moved?
I did.
Jesus, what have you done?
I know.
There's a country song about a girl who met a boy from Tennessee and about going orange.
Yeah, no, I will not. I'm going to quote Sandra Bullock from The Blind Side.
Mhm.
I will not wear that gaudy orange.
Is this going to be okay with you just talked about liking this town and
Mhm.
going to the coffee shop and all that. Are they going to be okay with this?
Yeah.
Are you going to wear blue?
I wear blue all the time.
Oh.
I will wear navy. I will not wear orange. It's also, I have a very strong opinion on color.
You're going to talk bad about my company color?
No, orange is fine. Tennessee orange reminds me of watered down Gatorade, whereas like Florida orange is a strong orange. And so I just wish it was maybe a stronger orange. But I'm still not going to wear it because I'm...
Is your new extra family okay with this?
Yeah, I mean, I say it a lot. I'm sure it's like, hello, take me or leave me, friends. This is how I feel.
They've accepted you.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I hope. I don't know. My stuff might be on the porch when I get home. I don't know.
No, this won't come out for a week or two.
Okay, then give me 3 weeks and we'll see.
What are you excited about? Because I'm sitting here looking at the mature business owner, Liz Toombs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when you. Yeah, I'll ask you. When was that? Was it 30? Was it 32? Was it 30? When everything really came together, where you saw it, and you saw all the worlds coming together and in front of you, and you're like, I know this action. Doesn't mean all the actions go perfectly, but I know this is the action to take. This is the plan to make. This is the move. When did that happen for you? 30, 32, 35?
I think there have been different phases and points along the way. Like almost like benchmarks I didn't know that I was going to come upon.
Mm-hmm.
So for me,
You're here now is my point.
Yeah.
Like this person, you're there.
I mean, I would say it's been in the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the pandemic was a time where because it was a forced slowdown, I was really forced to, what do I like to do? What do I want to do when we can come out of this? And what does that look like? And I put a higher priority on like one-on-one and personal connection. And I wanted to do less busy stuff. Like I didn't need to go to every event anymore. My business was established. I wanted to focus on the people I needed to focus on and then have some white space and breathing room in my life to do what I want to do.
So now that you're this Liz,
Mm-hmm.
this leader with this brain,
Mm-hmm.
with this intelligence, with this knowledge of operating a business, what are you excited about? I'll just say the next 9 years. What's in your mind? I'm not saying what's the 5-year
Yeah,
plan, but
yeah.
what are you excited about for these 9 years in business?
I really enjoy developing my team. I don't have any intention to have an extremely large team, but right now I have 2 designers that work with me. I feel like both of them are kind of unicorns and we're just all a really good fit. They have really exceptional work ethic. They have a really good design eye and we all gel together. And so I just love being able to cultivate them and support them. And then let's see what this looks like. Do we continue to add more? Do we just continue to develop them? That's the stuff that really gets me excited right now. I really enjoy that.
How many people came through before you found the unicorns? Not talking bad about anybody.
No. Well, gosh, Erica in Louisville has been with me for 10 years. And so that in of itself feels like a huge win for me because who graduates college, works for a small business and then stays with them that long? Like that was just such a good fit. But I knew when she was an intern, she was a really good fit.
So I want to come back to talk about how you knew. But
Okay.
So how many people did you get through? You had Erica.
So, I mean, I've had interns for like almost every year. So what if I've been in business for 15 years? I'm going to say I've had at least 13 folks come through.
And you found 2 unicorns.
Yeah. Yeah. For whatever reason, it was the right time for both of us. It fits really well. And I mean, I've told this story a lot lately. Caroline, the most recent hire, she came to me. She went through law school, was going to be an attorney. The last second was like, I don't want to do this. Went and worked in fraternity sorority life at Eastern Kentucky University. Always wanted to get into design, was taught as a child. It was not a viable career. And then emailed me and said, hey, I would love to just talk to you. Do you have any positions? And I always say yes. Like I will, not to the position, but to the meeting. Always will take a coffee, a lunch, whatever. And I knew I went in, I was like, I don't have any space for this. I knew I'd be moving later, things like that. I think that's how it all timed out. And then I sat down with her and it was like, I don't have a spot, but I have to find a spot. She's the right person. And I'm very thankful for that because I think that's such a good position to be in rather than to have an opening and you're trying to shove anybody into it and make them work. And this was like, this is so easy. She's a great fit. We'll figure out a space. And that was the right thing. I really operate off my gut a lot.
Would the 30-year-old Liz, though, have recognized how special she was?
I don't know. Maybe she would have recognized how special Caroline is, but she would have been afraid to commit to paying someone. I don't know if, that's ever a thing for you, but that's just something I take seriously. Like I'm taking on someone's livelihood. It's not just mine.
It's responsibility.
And I never want to bring someone on and be like, this is going to be great. And then like, oh crap, I can't. I knock on wood. I'm very fortunate. That's never been a problem.
Because you're willing to work through it. See, that's what there's just attribute. The reason why I'm asking these questions is, of course, I had this journey, right? I'm asking questions. When did you know? Because there's this life cycle of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, sitting here with you at 41, I know you've gone through these things.
Yep.
Because I went through them.
Yep.
Right. And also, I know that you only get to that point becoming a mature business owner if you've put in a lot of time.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes hours that are incomprehensible for somebody who hasn't been through it, can't explain it. And all that time, all the meetings, all the yeses, every client, every potential client, every loss, you start building an encyclopedia or a Rolodex in your brain that now when you sit with a client, it probably doesn't take too long. A customer, you can be a client, you're like, I want to work with them or not. And you may sit and talk to them for an hour, but you knew really quick.
Yep.
You're like, this is just not, and you just know.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to follow The Necessary Entrepreneur on your favorite social media platforms so you never miss out on engaging content. But you said 2 unicorns.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just wrote a chapter, and again, I'm not a good writer, and it was probably embarrassingly bad, but you say yes. And it's opening up. That's why I'm going to go talk on a stage in front of 300 loan officers in Fort Wayne, Indiana, because I wrote, but the chapter is just a few pages. 40 people came together, wrote a chapter about what it is to be a loan officer in the current times.
Okay.
And I wrote from the real estate perspective.
Yep.
And I said, hey, I'm in Kentucky, so let's talk about horses, and let's talk about what being a unicorn is. And it's not a good subject for people that aren't or don't want to put in the time to become.
Yeah.
But a unicorn in your mind, when you said it, I found 2 unicorns.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, so I'll use Erica as an example.
You said 2 or 3 things. Yes.
So when I first interviewed her for an internship, and I don't even remember all of the circumstances that had me make this decision, I gave the internship to someone else. But I liked her, and I said, if you're interested, I don't recall if it was next semester, next year, whatever, reach back out at this point and check back in with me. And so, because that's a tell, right? If they really want it, they'll come back. And then that shows me a lot. So that time frame passed. She came back to me, wasn't the right time. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm still open to this, but check back in with me at this time. So after a couple of no's, hold on, then I was ready for her because she kept coming back. And that just showed me a lot, like with her persistence and her interest in being there. And then I gave her the internship and she did a great job and really, like, she just shined bright doing that for me. That was a time, somehow I ended up with like 2 or 3 interns. And she just was a real standout for me. And so then I was like, look, would love to bring you on. I know you're moving back home to Louisville. could we figure out how to make this work remotely? And I mean, the reaction was like, it was Christmas morning. She was like, absolutely.
Talk about the attributes, though, of standing out.
Yeah. The doing whatever needs to be done stands out to me a lot. So in our job, we have so many different things that we do. So there's obviously the office work where you're doing the design, you're dealing with the vendors and so on. But when we're on the job site, I love it when someone just sees this needs to be done. I know this is on our list for the day and I'm just going to do it. And if they have a question on how to do it, they'll come to me. But otherwise, because it's so draining sometimes as the leader and the owner to be like, I need you to do X, please. And here are all the things behind that. And so sometimes it's just like, oh, thank God somebody's like getting that task out of my brain.
If we're teaching that and you had to put a 45-minute class on mentoring young women, because that's your field, you would ask me like, hey, Mark, if you're mentoring young men, whatever, it's my job to mentor both. That's why I'm coming at people that just want one. But what is that attribute you're talking about? They see and do. So I'm telling you, it's rare. It is rare.
Yeah.
So, and it is refreshing. It's almost unteachable. It is almost unteachable.
And when they're young like that, just graduating college, not everyone, and it's not always their fault if they've not had experience.
Not blaming them, but it just, they showed up.
Right.
This is no different than in sports.
Yep.
The person that just practices better is going to get to start. And then the person who's performing better, once they get to start, they're going to keep the job. I'm sorry. Right. But there's something about meritocracy and some of these things that matters. Same thing for you with design.
Yep.
You do a great job with design, you're going to continue getting referrals. You're going to show up in magazines, all the articles that have been written about you. So this thing that you said without you telling her, she saw and did. Like, what is that? We could come up with these words and the adjectives, but like, what is it? It's hard to even articulate.
Yeah.
It's awareness. It is ambition.
Yes.
It's wanting to do a good job.
Sometimes I just call it get up and go, right? Like you're just willing to jump in and do it. And what I tell all of them, it's a lot of trial by fire when they're working with me. And I want to train them, but I also, can you go in, accessorize this bookshelf? Let's talk about it. What works, what doesn't. It's much easier if you're doing the hands-on than me saying, this is how we place these things. So
that's how they're going to learn too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's experiential learning. And I think that's super valuable. But you have to be comfortable taking feedback and knowing that you might have to make changes. And if you're not comfortable with that, which I don't know that I was comfortable with that in my 20s, it may not be the way to learn. So
you became comfortable.
Yeah.
On the job is the best way.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to receive the criticism. And if with young folks, if I could help them, confidence and self-esteem is a problem in 2024. It seems like it's a bigger problem. I don't know why, but it is. If there's one thing I could give them, I tell everyone when they're coming on board and I have an opportunity to have conversations with them, it's like, you all, if I could just I want to do two things. I don't want you to be a robot that just comes to Mark's classes, but I do want I wish you had a switch. And I wish I could just hit the switch and turn off the programming that's in your brain right now. And then what I want to do is I want to supplant that with a shot of self-esteem and confidence. Everything will be fixed if both of those happen. And just go out and take action and just do. Start by doing the things I know how to train you to do. And if you take action, you'll find your way. You'll find your little way to put it on it. You'll find a way to add to our team. You'll find a way to help us improve things that maybe I'm not seeing. But you have to be, and the biggest part of this is you actually have to look for the criticism from others in a positive way, the critique, the self-improvement. It's not about learning to be able to deal with it. You have to search it out from the people who know.
Yeah.
Goodness. If they can come to us with those things. So it's just get up and go.
Yeah.
Huh. So she had get up and go.
Yeah. She just went after it. So
work ethic.
Yeah.
Perseverance, grit, all those things.
Yeah. And now she does some stuff better than I do. And I'm like, oh.
But that's what happens.
Yeah.
Right? Because isn't that what parents try to do for us? They're like, we just want to make our kids just a little bit better.
Ideally.
Well, that's what I want to do with my folks around me. Let me take what I've learned to shrink your learning curve down. And how about you just level it up from there?
Yeah.
That's the goal. So you're excited about your team, your unicorns. Will you just go deeper in the platforms and the places and pillars you're working in now?
I think so.
Or could it even expand and be, you think it's a time just to be expert and great at what you already do? Yeah,
I think that's what we're really working on right now. The past 2 years, we've really worked on like documenting our processes and getting those things into place so that as we build the team and we can look at those and train them well and then things aren't so reliant on me. And so we're just really honing in on like the TikToks and on the, how can we connect with these folks and just be the go-to for this type of work. We know we're not the only one out there. There's plenty of work to go around, but this is us, and we want you to know who we are and how we are. And if that clicks with you, then work with us.
Are you competitive?
I think a little.
I
shouldn't say I think
are
a
you
little.
underselling
I'm
that?
slightly competitive. Yes.
How's that show up in your life?
Well, just like to do things right. Like to get some wins in whatever that looks like.
So what's Liz do when the losses show up?
Oh, examine why that happened, what went wrong, what I could do better next time. And that's what I do with my team too. So we're going to sit down next week and go through all of our summer installations, all of our sorority projects that we just did. And everybody, whatever project you're lead on, we sit down and we say what went well, what didn't go well, and what can you or we as a team do better next time. And I think that, like you're talking about, seeking out the criticism, that's a way to do that in kind of a safe space. And so I kind of take that same approach with whatever loss I might experience in my life. And then that way I'm not beating myself up about it. Like it's not ruminating, I'm not just thinking of it over and over. I'm like, okay, this is what went wrong. I see how that could be. Can I fix it now? And if not, then how do I avoid it in the future and just move along?
You've been on, I even hate the term podcast, but you've sat down for conversations, for interviews, talking about Liz and your business and stuff. When you walk away from so many of them, is there something on your mind like, I wanted to talk about that? Why has no one ever asked me that? What's the thing about Liz that people should ask, that we should know, that normally doesn't come up?
Ooh,
what's on your mind? Yeah, when you're driving in the car and you're listening to Taylor. Ugh.
Singing some Taylor.
Jesus. What's on your mind about you and your business and what you wish people knew or what they would ask? And you're like, I just want them to know this. If they only understood this.
Yeah. Gosh. I think I just want to make sure that it's clear to our clients or people that are paying attention to us that like this means a lot to us, that we enjoy connecting with them. We don't just want to be like a vendor that you just here, go do this and then move along. We really like connecting with the people. So I think the jobs go better when that happens. And then we can really like tap into what they want to happen. And that's super important to me.
So you're telling me you care?
I know, right?
Like this is 2024. It's supposed to be all about you.
Yeah. That's the other thing with design I don't like. I think specifically with the TV shows, it feels all about the designers a lot of times, even though they say it's about, the client. And so I don't like that because that's not how I want to do. I understand that we need to bring the expertise in certain areas, but it's not what the space should look like in our opinion. It's what do you actually need to function and make it look good.
Okay, so a continued iteration of the question.
Mm-hmm.
If you were sitting in my seat
mm-hmm.
and Liz is sitting there.
Gosh, this is so hard.
I feel like what's a question? There's not something just on your mind?
No. I feel like I talk about so many things, like all the different facets. Right.
So here's the thing. For people that would ask me, and trying to help here because I think this is really interesting because I want there to be an unlock for folks and even for you. Like if these venues of us having these conversations matter,
mm-hmm.
I think they only matter to truly learn about us and who we are and the fundamentals about our business.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the best interview that anybody could ever have, like interviewing for a job, not me and you interviewing,
mm-hmm.
but to be able to say why.
Mm-hmm.
A conversation around selfishness compared to selflessness is probably a subject for me that if someone asked me a question like around that,
mm-hmm.
that I'd probably go deep and then getting probably to the fundamentals that I believe about, like, what's this human experience?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I even doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I running a business? Why am I trying to lead people? Why is it important that I find a unicorn or two, but the others I can't help? Why is it important that a guy named Tom Bilyeu, he has a huge podcast called The Impact Theory. Him and his wife are successful entrepreneurs. They started Quest, the bars. And the other day, he was sitting and talking to Chris Williamson, big-time podcaster and stuff now, semi-conservative, so some people have a problem with some of the things he has to say, but he's a really smart guy on the way he articulates stuff. And Tom Bilyeu said he really cared about helping society, and he was trying to help adults and the people that work for him. But through talking to psychologists, through talking to therapists, he said, I realized I had to give up on adults. And initially that hurt. And he said, because through all the research, my own personal research of running companies and talking to everyone else, the change that people need to go through to live the life they want, only 2% of adults truly do. And so I realized I had to give up on that. And so he said, so I decided to focus on the 8 to 15-year-olds because through research, that's the impact I could make. On one hand, that's very sad. That's what I feel. It's sad. But if it's real, get real with the truth. And so I feel like I'm still battling that daily.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's hard to be a business owner, to just accept reality and say, to still be humble, but say, well, what if you're just one of the 2%? And you have to realize that you can't help 98% of adults because they're just not going to change. That's sad. And I'd have a conversation on whether or not I care about still spending my time selflessly trying to swim upstream when everyone's told you can't. It still seems purposeful to me. It seems like it's worthwhile. But there's a lot of people telling us that the research has already been done. So I'd have a conversation on, to run a great business, you just have to accept that. And so then maybe the 8 to 15-year-olds in society, maybe that's, you just got to take the young ladies coming out of college and you can still mold them and help them. And yeah, I don't want to believe this, right?
I know. It is hard to.
Yeah. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with having conversations, but I'd say, okay, he's really done massive research. He's friends with these psychologists at a high level. They've written the books. They've done Harvard studies.
Yeah.
They're not just throwing this out there to try to have people hate them for what they're saying. There's something about this that adults don't do a good job changing to ensure that they have the life that they want to have. And so is it worthwhile still to battle that? I'd say that. Like I feel like I should. There's something inside of me to be a good human that you still will try. Right. But if I'm really honest, I don't know if it's 98%, but I've seen a lot of reinforcing behavior around that idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Which then reminds me kind of what we talked about earlier of it really has less to do with you and your ability to inspire these people and something about them. And there's a reason holding them back from willing to change.
Yeah.
That helps it make it easier.
But that's it. So if I try to help people to get to know me, I'd say, hey, I really do think about these things.
Yeah.
And I do care about putting others first and helping them. But am I going to do that at the expense of not moving the needle and giving my life up for it? Versus, so I think Tom said, let me just go spend it with the 8 and 15-year-olds and maybe I can change the 2% and 98% then.
Yeah.
So sorry to say all that stuff. But, yeah, is there a question or a thought or an idea? Traveling the roads.
There hasn't been. I'm sure there will be now. I'm going to be like, let's think on
Nothing
this.
from your favorite state of Montana?
No.
What's that do when you go to Montana? What do you feel? You hear so many people talk about Montana and Idaho and those areas. What do you feel when you're there?
So the water is just so clean and crisp and bright, and the landscape is just beautiful. You've got the mountains and you have, the hills and all these things. And so just the nature, it's just so peaceful. And I think it's a good reminder that things can be so simple and so basic and just at your basic level, do you have what you need?
That's what you should just tell us. Hey, Mark, we overcomplicate things. Life's simple.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I love there. It's just everything is so beautiful and pristine and relatively untouched.
Is that why you won't sleep in a tent?
Oh, I don't sleep in a tent because I don't like bugs and I like air conditioning. So no one was more surprised than me that I loved Montana. I also thought the first time I went there, I was going to the middle of nowhere. And then I got on this huge airplane with all these students. And so I asked this man that ended up being the father of one of the students. And I was like, where are you going? He was like, Yellowstone. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not good at geography because I didn't know that that's the airport I was flying into. And so anywho, but yeah, the bug bit me for Montana and the West and all of it. I just love that.
But what about home?
What about it?
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Feels special to me.
Yeah.
What about it?
It's a good place.
Why? Why do you think it's a good place? I've traveled. I've been to 43 or 43 states.
Mm-hmm.
Traveled a little bit internationally. I have a pretty good feel for the big city.
Mm-hmm.
Been to New York City enough.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago enough. Dallas. Florida. Traveled Highway 1 in California.
Mm-hmm.
Been to a lot of places. Colorado
Mm-hmm.
Springs. Just all the stuff. So enough to know there's something special here.
Mm-hmm.
The people. We say hello.
Mm-hmm.
We hold a door.
Mm-hmm.
If we're at stop signs and both people are there, like we wave someone else on,
Mm-hmm.
we say, excuse me,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody drops something, we pick it up.
Mm-hmm. Hold the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see someone who's a little bit shorter and they can't reach something, you're like, hey, can I help you and get that for you?
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot here.
Mm-hmm. Someone sneezes, you say bless you.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. When you know you do something you shouldn't, you're like, hey, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's something in the water, in the culture.
Yeah.
It's not just relegated to our state lines,
Mm-hmm.
but there's something about this area still that I like and appreciate. Maybe the Northeastern folks don't. I don't know, but I still have a fast pace of life. It's not that I have a slow pace of life.
Mm-hmm.
It feels special to me.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel different? Is it just because it's home?
I don't know. I mean, maybe what I appreciate is we kind of have a little bit of everything. You can have the fast pace and like the city life if you want it. You can also go, a few miles out of town and have a more rural, slower pace if you want, but still have access to things. We have beautiful landscape. I really appreciate that. I mean, nothing is more beautiful than flying into the Bluegrass Airport in Lexington and you come over Keeneland and you see these horse farms and everything is green. I love New York and I appreciate it for what it has. But when you fly into those airports, everything's it's pretty concrete,
Doesn't
lots
matter
of
which
construction.
one. LaGuardia, JFK, all of it's the same.
It's gray.
Yeah,
It's
World
kind of a
Harris also,
downer.
yeah.
You fly into Lexington and it's green and you're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. So yeah, I have
Something special.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't come here like Joe Rogan had people go to Austin,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you don't care anymore because, you're hanging out with the folks with the orange. All right, so you're excited about going deep into your business.
Yeah.
What, will there be another business? Is this just your entrepreneurial journey? Will there be another one?
I don't know. I always, toy with other things, expansions of things. I like to dream and just see what comes of it. I'm really interested in, I would call it more of a spin-off of this, but I said real estate was kind of like my first introduction to this. I would love to get into like construction a little bit, spec houses, those types of things. Nothing overwhelming, but just like, let's build something and create it and sell it and,
But a custom
and see
spec
how
house.
that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, that your design goes with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have some good knowledge in that and I have a good understanding of what people are looking for. And I think that could be a fun kind of side project.
Could the poor country Mark, I grew up poor,
Mm-hmm.
not too far from here,
Mm-hmm.
but not poor from culture, just lack of money,
Sure.
right? And I think I'm the person I am today because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm benefiting from it.
Mm-hmm.
The attitude, the perspective. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Probably because I'm taking action and achieving some things.
Right.
If I was still in the same place, I'd probably be complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
Could that Mark afford Liz's design services? Just tell me no, because I'm going somewhere with this.
Probably not.
Okay. That's okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? Tell us what it cost. The average person doesn't want to pay my fees to have me represent them in real estate again. I
Yeah.
used to be a lot cheaper.
Yep.
I'm not anymore.
Same.
You're gonna pay my price,
Mhm.
and if you don't want to, I'm okay. It's just I'm not gonna work for it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So you said spec home. I can envision your spec home.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice country type of home, but a nice sprawling ranch that's 3,000 or 4,000 square feet with a 3-car garage kind of kicked on the side, sitting on 2 or 3 or 4 acres. It might be a $1.5 million home.
Oh, that's a little higher than I would probably
Is it?
start.
750?
Yeah.
Really?
I would probably start in the 300 range.
Huh?
Yeah. just to like get my feet wet, get out there. I feel like that's a good price point.
Okay, so your design services can come with a $300,000 home?
Yeah. I mean, if I want it to, I'm not going to, you are not going to come in and hire me to do it. It would be more me like working with the contractor one-on-one and us picking that stuff and then selling it.
That's a 1.5.
Not custom. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm,
but you're saying, I like your idea.
Mm-hmm.
You could take what you know that normally you have to have a $1.5 million more home. Let's just say $1 million and up.
Mm-hmm.
That you could take that vision and you can put that on a $300,000 spec home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things you can do and you don't have to break the bank, but you can still get a really great aesthetic and it's still a super functional house.
What are you waiting for?
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know.
Do it. I think the scenario we talked about, the move and the setup and different things and stuff, I think it's there. It's ready.
Yeah.
You should do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah. And just be prepared. What most people don't know, if you go back to when you started your business, you're not going to make money on the first one or two.
Yep.
That's the move.
Yep.
I'm going to learn. I'm going to figure out what works. And then if you have your mind set there, when you don't make money on the first one or two, you're going to still keep going back. I figured it out now. And then you can make your 15% margins. You should totally do this.
So my favorite line from a song is not Taylor. It is Old Dominion. Chase after the dream. Don't chase after the money. I like sing that when I'm at their shows. I love that. I love that so much.
That's what I said. What should someone ask you?
Oh, my bad.
Mark, ask me what the best line from any song is that I love.
There you go.
So tell us again, Liz.
Chase after the dream. Don't chase after the money.
Why?
Because if the money's your driver, you're in it for the wrong reasons and it's probably going to fall flat. But when you have the passion behind it, you're really going to give your all for it. And the money will come.
What really matters to you?
In business, in life, in general.
In life. What really matters to Liz?
Personal connection. Just having that connection with people. I feel like I can really see people and understand them, and I love to connect with them.
Why?
And why?
Yeah.
I think it's nice to feel supported. I love it when I feel supported by friends and family and I feel loved. And so I like to give that back. And, we talk about the world of social media. You're so connected with everyone, but you're actually not all that connected. It sort of feels empty. And so when you have that like personal connection, you actually feel the support and the love, and it's not that empty feeling.
We've ruined the word friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have many friends. Not the way I define it.
Yep. You're right.
I don't. I probably have friends 5 or 6. Maybe. I value that word. That's a 3 a.m. in the morning word. Some shit's going down. Right? Yeah. I treat everyone well. I try to.
Yeah.
Right? They might be friend close. They might be acquaintances. But friend is something it's earned, man. We earn it, and they earn it too. But that's nice. So what's the rest of 2024 look like for you?
Lots of travel. I'm going to Greece in a couple weeks with some girlfriends.
You're bougie as hell.
I'm not. We've just planned it, and so we've been waiting on it for a year.
We're going to get a boat. We're going to go to Mykonos, and then we're going to go to this island, and then we're going to go to that island.
We're not getting a boat, but we are going to Mykonos and Santorini and Athens.
And we're going to have one of those cool whitewashed with the blue sea, and it's going to have an infinity edge pool overlooking the Mediterranean. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. No, not that I know of.
You
I
should
don't know.
do it.
We booked it through Costco Travel. I'll make that picture just for you now.
Costco has expensive things, just so you know.
Yes, that's true. But we're going to take a mosaics class and a cooking class. Like, I love that kind of like artsy experiential stuff.
10 to 14 days?
9. Yep.
Awesome.
I probably will hike. My 2 friends have vetoed their participation in this because we did do a 5-mile hike in Montana, and I thought one of them was going to murder me. But I thought the payoff was worth it and the challenge was fun. She disagrees, and I'm still hearing about it 2 years later. So
you know what the problem is? When you get back from the hike, she's going to be mad she didn't go.
I think so. I'm going to find a really good payoff and then just rub it in their face.
You're really looking forward to this trip.
Yeah, it should be fun.
When'd you plan it? In the past couple years?
It was in the last year. Yeah, got it all figured out. And then I think we all kind of put it out of our minds. Like, we have a lot to get through. And then now we're like, oh, it's here. So
what's going to be your mindset when you come back? Is this a September, October trip?
It is. It's September. I think it's just like I just want to go and enjoy it, right? We have, I've said white space a lot in this conversation. We have a lot of white space just to like do what we want. I'm a very scheduled, very type A person. We were warned time is fluid and is a suggestion there. So I'm just going in with like, let's just see what happens.
How's that going to go?
I think it'll be okay. My sister is harassing me to see if I've been practicing my ABBA songs because she wants us to like perform Mamma Mia and send her a video. So yeah. And then I come back and 10 days later, I go to the great state of Iowa to install a sorority project. So we have some juxtaposition there.
You going to the University of Iowa?
Iowa State in
Iowa
Ames.
State?
Mm-hmm.
I spent a little time in Iowa.
Okay.
I was there for 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of corn,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe I think it might be harvested by then.
Mhm.
Maybe. But they're good people.
Yep.
Those people felt like when I was there for 6 months, they felt like here.
Mm-hmm.
It's good people.
I agree. They're very accommodating and kind, and I have found the same out in Washington State quite a bit. The
Really?
eastern side of Washington. I've done a lot of work, and I always have good experiences with the people I work with.
Yeah, on that side of the mountains, it's a different state, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different state.
Mhm.
What
It
school
is.
was that?
Washington State.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. In Pullman.
It's weird. So Montana State, Washington State, Iowa State. What is it about the state schools versus the...
I don't know. I do University of, too.
Yeah.
It's not always
That's-
the state, but yeah.
that's different.
Yeah.
Okay, and then 2025, you're going to conquer it like you've never conquered it before.
I suppose. I don't know. Maybe we'll get back to that. I've said to several people this year, everyone's always like, what's next? And I'm like, my whole life has been what's next? Let's build, let's go. And I'm just trying to remember to like savor and enjoy the things along the way, that it doesn't always have to be what's next. Like that will come, like that opportunity will be there. I don't have to force it.
Something happens at 40. Something happens.
You get very wise.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think it's just the perspective of all the experience.
Yeah, I think so too. It kind of sucks that it takes so much time and
It does.
experience to get this way,
'Cause
but
my
it's
body
lovely.
hurts.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep.
Do you have anything to say about a book? You're a reader, I think.
I love to read.
Yeah. Do you listen to audibles and all the travels too, or is it a
I
It's a
like
paperback.
holding a book. I also am old school in that I still get magazine subscriptions. Like I want to touch and feel and rip out pages, not of the books, of the magazines, but I love to read books. So right now, what am I reading right now? Claim Your Confidence by Lydia Fennett. She worked for Christie's auction house for years and now has her own auction agency. But I heard her speak at a conference. I read her last book, The Most Powerful Woman in the Room Is You. She just, I don't know, I really like her writing, and it's just kind of fun, inspirational, positive for business.
Any fiction?
Love fiction,
Okay.
but it's like the twisty murder mystery. So I usually will alternate between like something like scary and death, and then like, let's give us a positive upbeat. Go get your business. And then someone dies again.
Well, Liz, it's a great hour and a half. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being you,
Mhm.
having the personality. These ladies that you talk about in your business. I have the feeling often for people that sit down here that those that are around them benefit in a substantial way from being around you and being around them.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, I don't think people come into these types of spaces and you're passionate about talking about your thing, if not. So
Mhm.
I think they're going to, if I was around your two unicorns, I'd say, hey, you're obviously already soaking it up, but really embrace this opportunity because it's tough to find a great mentor.
Mhm.
It is tough to find a great one
Mhm.
who really cares about you, they're not agenda based upon just their wants and needs.
Mhm.
So the final piece is, did you have a mentor?
I think I've had several along the way. Nothing formal,
Yeah.
right? Like, please mentor me, teach me your ways. But I've had clients that I've worked with who have run businesses and they were strong female business owners, and I really admired them. And one specifically, you know, she was in her 80s when I met her, and I worked with her for about 10 years. And I just always saw how she treated everyone within her business and how kind she was to me being a young business owner and wanting to support me. And so I've emulated that a lot in my business. And then I think just some folks I've met through business networking, like I saw how they did things and, you know, just use people as a sounding board. So it's sort of this compilation of all sorts of different people have mentored me.
Give me some advice. And I don't think you get this question asked from guys too often. Should I stay in my lane and just mentor men? Or should I try to mentor women as well?
Ooh, I don't think think it matters. I think if you have a young woman or whatever age woman that wants to learn from you, by all means do it. I would mentor
I believe that too.
guys too,
Yeah.
but I can resonate the most right now with the females because
we may always, that may be the connection, right? Maybe
Yeah.
I do connect better with guys at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's inside of me. That's what feels right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
It feels right that the people that are in front of you that want to learn and grow, because I have a very diverse company.
Yep.
And what I tell people is it's unintentionally diverse because I don't have any program around it.
Right.
It's just literally like, whoever wants this, let's go.
Yep.
And you look around and there's a lot of us that look different,
Mm-hmm.
believe different things,
Mm-hmm.
have different perspectives, and it's worked well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's just a louder voice now about some men mentoring men
Mm-hmm.
and women mentoring women.
Mm-hmm.
And it's becoming louder because it's like, is that just the way it's supposed to be?
Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters. I think
Yeah.
much like attracting your right customer, you'll attract the people that want to learn from you and that you can help well.
Yeah.
If it happens to be all the same gender, then so be it.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you get caught up in all that, I think it gets a little legalistic and made up rules.
Yeah, idealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Just go be awesome and be great and try to help people.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great meeting you. I don't know how we can convince people to come. I don't really have the connections of the sorority houses.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
But maybe through our marketing and through our content, maybe you'll
You
get
never
another
know who was Greek and who is still involved and who may be like, this girl does this. You should call her because we travel everywhere.
Because we should.
Mhm.
Are you going to Greece because of the impact of Greek life? Like, is that a piece of this, or are you just going because it's Santorini and it's Europe and all that? Is there any connection?
No, I have always wanted to go to Greece. I had a friend in middle school that went on a mission trip there, and I remember seeing her photos, and I was like, this would be like the pinnacle of a vacation. And then when my friend brought to the table, like, hey, I want to do this girls' trip to Europe, love her heart, she put together like 10 different options, and nobody had Greece at all in their mind's eye. We were thinking of all these other things. And then Greece was one of the options, and it looks so stunning. I think the architecture is going to be really interesting, but no, it has nothing to do with actual like Greek life, sorority, fraternity, nothing.
The final piece, and we were wrapping with this. What does Greek life in the sorority perspective in college, what's it mean to you?
I think it's shaping our next generation of leaders. And so I think it's super important to listen to them, give them, to an extent, what they're asking for, what they need, right? Because they also only understand so much of what they need and what will benefit them. But I say that all the time. They're the next generation of leaders. They're the next group of business owners, the workforce. And so I think it's super important to stay connected to them and just hear them out and help support them along the way. Because like I said, I had a lot of mentors along the way, and I think I just want to pass that on.
Have a great day going back to Tennessee.
Yeah. I'm going back to Tennessee via Versailles in Kentucky. I'm going to install actually a residence.
Really?
Plot twist.
Probably a beautiful home in Versailles.
It is.
Horse farm or no?
Actually, it is. And it's the coolest house. We don't have time to talk about it, but it's a real contemporary house, a young family. It's a really fun project. I love them.
How many days will you be there? A couple days?
Today.
Really?
That's it. Yep.
Get out of here. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Okay, yes.